And if you've got a story to tell, don't forget you can tweet me at JC Normand or email us at insideoutnorthwest@bbc.co.uk. Now, the property company behind plans to turn Liverpool's iconic Littlewoods building into an international film studio say they hope work will start later this year. I've been to meet the new owners and to talk to some of the former workers. It's one of the Northwest's most recognisable structures. The famous Art Deco building once housed the headquarters of the country's biggest football pools company. But it's been empty for nearly 2 decades, and a recent fire threatened its very existence. This is the man whose company has ambitious plans to turn this big space into the so-called Hollywood of the North.
It's such an iconic building in Liverpool. Everyone knows it, everyone sees it as they come in from the motorway, coming into Liverpool, coming out of Liverpool. It's kind of like the golden age of film, I suppose, in a way as well, which sort of made it great for film studio development.
The building certainly echoes the sharp geometric designs of the 1930s Hollywood studios, and it was seen as glamorous and futuristic when it opened in 1938.
And it just seemed to have so much kind of character and almost like charisma to the building that we loved. This building always meant a lot to me. I used to come past it every single weekend on the way to my granddad's house every single Saturday, so I always knew it was a hugely significant building to the city, and pretty much everybody I ever met when I was younger in this kind of area had some sort of connection with the building because, you know, their auntie worked here or their granddad had worked here.
How did you feel when you got the phone call that Sunday night to say it was on fire?
I was just absolutely gutted. I just felt this enormous sense of responsibility.
What's the extent of the damage?
The roof on the west wing is pretty much collapsed in, all the steelwork melted because I believe the fire got to about 1,000 degrees. But even though that's all happened, the actual walls are still completely standing, they're all perpendicular. The famous clock tower, of course, which looks over the Botanic Gardens, is still there, so all that can be saved. So in the end, by the time we finished it, the fire will be a thing of history. The only thing we'd quite like to do is keep some of the tangled metal and make some sort of, I'd love to make some sort of sculpture out of it in the middle because it has been also an important part of the building's history in a way.
Had quite a nice win on the pool, £16,000.
When Edwin won his fortune, he was one of the 14 million people who did the pools each week. The aim was to predict which 8 football games would end in a score draw.
Bournemouth 0, Shrewsbury 0.
Well, in fact, we can leave the teleprinter now, just with the Southern League results going through, and give you the classified check.
League Division 1. Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 2.
The completed coupons would be sent to the Edge Lane building to be checked. Littlewoods was run by the Moores family and, at its peak, was the largest private company in Europe. At 17, Lynn McCarrick was told she was photogenic and given a job making training videos for Littlewoods, so she got to do most jobs. Now, a few years later, she remembers them as the best days of her life.
We would write the scripts between us about what was actually going to be covered, and then the jobs that me, as the pool clerk, was going to do on the desk, whether it was using the old Joey to bring in and security stamp coupons and postal orders. You would do that, and then you would be marking coupons another day. The marking cards would be created in the building next door. And then another day we'd be filling the envelopes up, sending the coupons back out to the customers to start the whole thing all over again.
What were your fondest memories of your time here?
Being in the canteen. Fish and chips was wonderful. They really were good days, and we had canteen had a stage in it, and so on Friday afternoons we'd have a live group in the canteen, and so we'd eat our lunch and then all gather round, and it was the beginning of our weekend.
So when did you first start working for the company?
I started in 1971.
Wow, and when did you finish?
I finished in 2001.
Malcolm Spargo is the former head of catering for Littlewoods, a job that involved ensuring 25,000 people a day were all fed across the business empire.
And the staff canteen, of course, was such an important place that people would meet and associate with their colleagues. It was a hive of activity. But the thing about working here was that everybody enjoyed working for Littlewoods football pools. It was a great big family, and we all knew each other, we trusted each other, and it was just a great time and a lovely family business to have been associated with.
Well, it was like no other building I'd been in before. It was huge for a start, and huge expanse, and there were loads and loads of girls, hundreds of girls in rows. You know, you knew it belonged to Littlewoods, and Littlewoods belonged to Liverpool.
The land adjacent to the main building has been earmarked for use by Britain's oldest film production company, Twickenham Studios. Opened in 1913 in London, the company has been involved in hundreds of film and television hits and was recently bought for £50 million. Twickenham have said they'll be the anchor tenant in the scheme and are due to operate out of new studios or sound stages.
These are going to be the workshops and stores, aren't they, with the offices behind?
And that, of course, that's going to link straight into the actual sound stages, that your studio space that's going to sit right behind there.
Not just the beauty of the building itself, it's where it is in relation to travel infrastructure, where it is in relation to the variety of locations themselves, such as the waterfront, not being that far from the city centre with its accommodation for talent and crews, not being that far from international airports where you can fly all over the world. And of course it backs on to a beautiful Victorian park which can be used as filming locations.
Liverpool set up a film office 30 years ago to help attract productions to the city. Last year, they had over 300 different projects working here. The film office claims it generated over £17 million for the local economy. The city has doubled as New York, as here for a Channel 4 programme. But it's also been Moscow, London, Rome, Paris and Madrid.
Liverpool and Merseyside itself and the northwest of England have got a huge production base. A lot of the time when them productions are here, one of the first things they ask for is what are the studio facilities, what are the production offers, what services have we got based there to make that production work much better. The studios would create that opportunity for us to house them productions, them to be based here, and we can meet that that demand to be the Hollywood really of the north.
Number 7.
It was the National Lottery that led to a decline in the popularity of the pools. So it's perhaps fitting that a lottery-funded project tracing the history of Littlewoods is being led by a former lecturer from Liverpool Screen School.
At the moment, we're actually digitising a lot of images from the Littlewoods archive, which is held at the National Football Museum. They used to call it the dream factory because everybody used to, dream about winning the pools. Yeah. And now it's literally going to be a dream factory where they create film.
How do you bring education together with the film industry to make sure that people have the opportunities to be able to benefit from this amazing thing that's going to be on their doorstep?
I think it's about making it accessible. The fact that this building is going to have access to the general public, I think that is going to be a great sort of instigator to get the youngsters in and make them realise that it is going to be for them.
It's sad to see the state of the building now, but the planned redevelopment costing £50 million could start later this year.
The family gave lots of money to various institutions in Liverpool. To see this building being renovated and the name Littlewoods Film Studios on the side, I think it's great that the name Littlewoods, in fact, will remain in Liverpool.
And the Littlewoods Heritage Project on Facebook is keen to hear from you if you have a story about working there. They'll be creating